The Dynasty podcast is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. You were warned. The Dynasty podcast is brought to you by Jumbo Donuts. Get a delicious blueberry muffin, bacon and cheese sandwich, or the Jumbo Donuts world-famous chocolate-covered donut. Don't be a fool. Start the day off right at your local Jumbo Donuts.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the assholes on the Dynasty tonight. That's right. It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Dynasty tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like some kind of torture to have to watch the show. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, sexuational. This is what we call the Dynasty Podcast. And now, coming to you live from Riverdale Studios, your host, the one, the only, Eric Costanza!
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the last Jumbo Donuts Dynasty podcast of the Dynasty 8 season. It's finally over. As usual, this is your host and commissioner, Eric Costanza, broadcasting live from Riverdale Studios. Now here's what's going to happen on the show here today. First, we're going to go ahead and recap the Dynasty Bowl 8 and talk to the new Dynasty champion, fresh off his big victory, Coach Johnny C. Then we're going to release some major and unfortunately disappointing news pertaining to a particular Dynasty coach, which does greatly affect us all. Then we're going to go ahead and get on the phone with Jumbo Donuts and thank them for their wonderful sponsorship of this year. And then we're going to just wrap things up with a bunch of year-end information. So without further ado, let's get this shindig on the road. And now, live in the studio, we have ourselves the new Dynasty champion, Coach of the Amber Alerts, Coach John Costanza. Coach, all I have to say is wow. Like many Super Bowls, typically most Dynasty Bowls don't live up to the hype, but this one definitely did. How you feeling?
I'm kind of confused. Not 100% sure what you're talking about. Some people at work today were talking to me about some Dynasty Bowl thing, and I'm not sure what happened. All I know, I did watch the Patriots game, and that was pretty cool. I was starting getting some texts from Brandon about how he was very stressed and how he taught his son the F word involuntarily. I was just doing my thing, and did I get an award? What happened? Can you tell me what happened?
I think you're being a little humble here. I think we all know.
I'm clueless. Actually, is the word.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and give a quick recap for our listeners and
for me,
maybe for you as well. If that's okay, do you have a moment? I'm going to go ahead and recap here.
I'm all ears because I'd like some information.
Okay, sure thing. Well, Dynasty Bowl 8 was one for the ages, as it broke 4 Dynasty Bowl records. The first record that was broken was the record for the most total points scored in a Dynasty Bowl, breaking the record from Dynasty Bowl 6 when Soul Glow and Bubba Gump Shrimp scored 241 points. The Alerts and Brutal Deluxe shattered that record.
Hey, the Alerts is my team, right?
Yeah, you're the Amber Alerts. Were you hit in the head were you concussed at a certain point? Are you suffering some sort of amnesia of any kind?
I'm not feeling concussed, but I'm down for a test. if you know anybody.
Well, I'm not a doctor. I happen to know a doctor. His name is Dr. Leo Marvin.
He's a genius.
He is a genius. I heard his death therapy cured many folk.
Maybe I'll try that.
Well, anyway, yes, the Alert, your team, and Brutal, who were in the Dynasty Bowl, you guys shattered a record. You guys actually scored 77 more points than Soul Glow and Bubba Gump. You guys put up 318 combined points, which again broke a record. Most total points scored in a Dynasty Bowl.
Fuck.
The second record that was broken by you guys was the closest Dynasty Bowl in history, obviously. The game ended in a 159 to 159 tie.
Unprecedented.
It is ridiculous that happened. Obviously, the Alert won by having 31 more bench points.
I won?
Yeah.
I won?
The former record was when the Hunters defeated Bubba Gump by 8 points back in Dynasty Bowl 8. And the third record was the most points scored by one team, which was broken by both yourself, Coach John, and Coach McDowell. They both scored 159 points, as previously mentioned. Both Soul Glow and Handy Quacks previously had the record with 148 points. And the fourth and final record that was broken in the Dynasty Bowl 8 was that Coach Johnny C., yourself, became the oldest tenured coach to win a championship, winning it after 8 years of coaching. So congratulations to you, Coach. Now that takes care of recapping pretty much, the records and all the craziness that went on during Dynasty Bowl 8. So let's go ahead and actually talk to you now, Coach, and kind of get your take, and we have a few questions here. It's a championship podcast here. So let's go ahead and get this started. As you listeners can probably hear, Coach Costanza and his humbleness requested to have this song play in the background during the duration of this interview. So as we get started, Coach, you must be on cloud 9 right now. Tell us what's going on, your emotions, how does it feel? I don't know how this feels, so I'd like to live through you right now and find out exactly how it feels to be the Dynasty champion.
I'm more like on cloud 10 right now. Cloud 10. I've never felt these feelings before. Most of the feelings are epicentered around my crotch region. A lot of explosions going on, and I'm not sure if I should seek some kind of professional help for it. There's a lot of wetness down there. Big mess. It's a big mess down there. It's involuntarily happening, and I've never experienced this before. I've always been a fucking loser or mediocre team. I made it to the Dynasty Bowl like years ago, which was obviously a fluke, and I finally did it. And I learned. Ironically, I'm gonna give my foe, my opponent in the Dynasty Bowl, credit for my win, because I learned from him that if you want to win in this fucking league, you have to do whatever you can do. Do as much trades as possible. If you got to trade draft picks, trade them to get the players you need to win this season. It's all about this season. This is the most competitive fantasy football league in the fucking world, and you gotta want it.
Very well said, Coach. Very well said. Now, I understand that there were a couple of riots that took place during the victory.
I'm crying right now.
I can tell that.
I'm crying, listeners.
I apologize. I don't have a tissue on hand.
Don't apologize. This is natural. Let it happen.
I like the emotions.
Give me your shoulder.
That's not my shoulder. That's my testicle.
Oh.
I understand there's some riots that took place.
I encouraged them. I actually started. I'll admit it. I flipped the first car.
Right. And
whatever.
I saw you on David Letterman last night. Yeah, I saw you on. I think I heard you're gonna be on Leno tomorrow night.
No, I'm gonna bail on him. I'm gonna go on Conan and George Lopez.
Okay, sure. Get to appeal to that Hispanic demographic. I understand. I heard you have a victory parade coming up. What are the details of the parade? Where is it taking place? Is it going to be in Riverdale? Is it going to be somewhere else? What's happening with that?
We're going to start in Riverdale, and then we're going to go cross-country parade. We're gonna take some tanks. There's going to be helicopters. There's going to be a Pope-mobile for me to